Hey everyone. Look, it looks like we're pushing into a recession here, at the very least, a massive correction. This virus is going to drag on a lot of things. I talked about that in one of my Instagram videos, but I decided I was going to do a longer little video here to explain. You can create and manufacture a recession, and it's going to be fueled by this virus, right? The fears of the virus are causing factories in China to shut down. So now they're not making anything. If they're not making anything, they don't need the employees. If companies don't need the employees, even here in the States, even if they're making stuff in China, if they don't need the employees here to oversee manufacturing, if they don't need the salespeople, they'll start cutting back on jobs, because if nothing's being made, nothing's being sold, do I need all of these employees? And that is a cycle that's going to continue and continue and continue as this virus moves on, and even past the virus. Because then, even if the virus gets cured, there's going to be a prolonged period before, and if you were watching the news last night, they were talking about a vaccine and how long it would take. The first trial would be a couple months, and then the next trial would be a couple months, and then the testing would be a couple months on larger individuals, and then they would have to get approval from the FDA, and that would take 6 to 8 months. This could potentially be a very long-winded event. I'm also a little distracted because I'm working, so I'm looking at my screen right now. I wanted to talk about the recession in 2008. In 2008, I had been working for years in the restaurant industry, and I think maybe even by that point I had started to leave the restaurant industry and move into fitness. Luckily, my mom had moved to New York. I say luckily because she let me live in her apartment, so we weren't on top of each other. I was living at home, but I wasn't living with my parents because my mom had moved to New York. But she had this apartment here. She was in New York for work, and she had this apartment in New York. So she said, you're more than welcome to just stay at my place in DC and save up some money, which was fantastic. And it was a really nice luxury to be afforded when I was in my early 20s. All my friends went off to college. I didn't. And so all of my friends ended up scattered all over the country. None of them came home. So I didn't have that vibrant of a social life. I worked and I worked and I worked, and every dime that I made went into savings. So when the recession hit in 2008, I had a lot of money in savings. I had no overhead. I didn't have rent. So my suggestion to you, who, if you're very young, is if we're pushing into a recession, work and live at home with your parents and save up as much money as you can, even a dumb job. The money adds up. Even if you're making minimum wage, but you're not having humongous expenses, it adds up. And that's money later on you can use to invest. And that is exactly what I did. So when everyone else in 2008 was in full-on panic mode, they were freaking out. They were going, oh my God, a recession. Oh my God, what's going to happen? Get out, selling all their stuff. I was sitting there going, I'm in my early 20s. I'm going to ride this out. This recession might not go on, it might continue for a couple of years, but it's not going to go on forever. And so what I started doing was gradually buying some of my favorite stocks, a little bit at a time. And that's what I am advocating you start doing now. I'm not saying if you want 100 shares of a company, I am not saying go all in right now and buy the 100 shares. It's going to get worse, but you don't know where the bottom is going to be. None of us do. So start buying a little bit. Buy 25 shares at a time, even 10 shares. And you know what? If it's a super massive, mega expensive stock like Amazon, buy 1 share. Buy 1 share here, buy 1 share of Tesla, buy 1 share of these companies that you like. Not that I'm telling you, don't buy what I'm telling you to buy. I'm not a broker. This is just for entertainment and education purposes. Just buy what you like, a little bit at a time. Every time the market has a huge sell-off, every time the market is down 500 points or 1,000 points, just pluck a little bit more into your account. Another 50 shares, another 10 shares, whatever that number is. Because if you're young, 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now, you're going to be the one saying, oh yeah, this apartment that you're standing in, I used some of my stocks that I purchased during the 2020 coronavirus outbreak. And people are going to go, wow, that was so smart of you. I sold everything and I lost tons of money. Don't lose tons of money on good stocks, right? Don't sell into this panic. It's going to come back. These stocks will come back. I had a friend yesterday tell me he sold Microsoft and lost $8,000. And that made me sad because this isn't a risky stock, right? Microsoft isn't some stock that's going to go down and never come back. It's not some stupid penny stock. It's Microsoft. I wouldn't have advocated or I recommended selling and taking such a big loss. What I would have said, what I would have said is buy a little more. Don't sell. Don't lose $8,000 on Microsoft. In 5 years, in 10 years, Microsoft will be right back to where it was. So be smart about this. Don't waste all of your money. You know, the fear is that you're going to miss out, right? I understand that fear. I got to buy it now because it might go up. But, you know, and it might. And that's why I recommend buying a little bit. So if it does go up, hey, at least you got in. But if it goes down, you're not out of money. You know, you didn't go and buy 100 shares of something and then it drops 15%. You're going, fuck, now I want to buy it and I can't. So the suggestion would be bits and pieces at a time that add up gradually to a number that you originally wanted. 100 shares, 50 shares, even 10 or 5 shares if we're talking Amazon or Tesla, one of those big guys. That's the advice. So I'm going to put this on an Instagram story, but I'm also probably just going to put it on YouTube because I think it's something that people need to see. And remember, if you are young, do not be scared. I know it's scary. It's terrifying even for me. This is a bad day, bad week. My account is down so bad you can't even imagine it. I told my mom and my mom was just like, oh my God. It's bad. It's really, really bad. But if you have the money to start investing, you're going to ride through this. We might be at the very beginning, but you're going to ride through this. 10 years from now, 5 years from now, you're going to be the one laughing because you bought so much stuff. And remember, don't buy risky, stupid shit. Buy the good stuff. Buy the good companies, the blue chip companies. If you don't know what they are, Google them. Google a list. It'll take you to Forbes or Kiplinger and read those lists and recognize the stocks that you see. You know, buy the ones that you recognize. You go, oh, I know that company. They provide my whatever. Those are the companies you want, the ones that you know, the ones that you already use. I hope this helps. You know, if you want to DM me, if you're freaking out, you know, please feel free. I'm around. If this is on YouTube and you're watching it on YouTube, please like and subscribe. And have a good rest of your week and good rest of your day, and good luck.